And it's Scott Tetlow trying to hold off Sam Quant. Only a point separates the two of them. Back-to-back tests here, and we've seen some great moments, and that happens anytime you roll out the heavy barbells.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to run 800 meters on this assault air runner, then max out your snatch. We've seen some heavy weights go up, but then that's not the only thing you gotta do. You gotta reset, lower the weight on the snatch, and then hit it hard on an 800-meter run to the finish. A little two-parter with 200 points up for grabs.
What are you cooking up for the recipe for success?
You know, easy at the start. I still think hold strong. Make sure you get about 3 lifts a minimum, and then 200 meters at a time. You know, you want to start strong, have a solid pace through the middle, and really empty the tank on that last 200 as well.
10 men on the floor coming in are towards the top of the overall standings. Your overall leader, Cole Griesaber, will be in lane number 6. Lane number 1 is Chandler Smith. Right now, 4th place overall. He's got back-to-back finishes inside the top 6.
And he's got a 305 listed snatch. He's one of the few guys that can break that 300 barrier regularly in competition.
He's always got the good vibe, too.
Brent Fikowski is in lane number 5. Fikowski, 5th overall. He was your overall leader after day number 1.
And Fikowski, as far as lifts are concerned, this might be the best one for him competition-wise. You think back to 2017, he was one of the few athletes that broke 300 in competition at the games. This is one of the lifts that goes well for him.
And Pat Vellner will be in lane number 8. For more on him, here's Nikki Brazier.
I talked to Pat before this event started, and he said he's been feeling more confident lately with his snatches, but also he does have a good understanding of his strength in comparison to the rest of the field here. So he does plan to capitalize on his strength as a runner, hopefully hit 4 lifts confidently and get out.
We haven't even started this test, and more or less the entire crowd was on their feet. Now, the rendition of Sweet Caroline before this heat started had something to do with that, but
I mean, you put an all-time karaoke song
Yeah.
on the speakers, it's going to get it popping here.
Yeah, the vibe in here is phenomenal right now. I mean, you got the wave going, you got the old school beats, it's great.
the score to beat is still 325 pounds. That's also a test record. It was Tudor Magda who did that in heat number 2 and did not have a lot of time between this lift and his last one.
No, he hit 305, and we thought, nah, that might be it. I don't think he's going to have enough time. He reset quick, got the bar off just at the buzzer. Remember, the lift just has to start before the time runs out for it to count.
That was one of the most impressive things I've seen in a while, because he had, like, I want to say he had like 30 seconds when he finished his other lift to change the weights and get on the bar and hit a huge lift like that. So shout out to him. That was awesome.
There's Brent Fikowski, who started this competition with a win, and then he finished 5th in test 2. He was 26 in test 3. That's what knocked him out of the overall lead, moved him from 1st down to 5th, but still safely inside the top 9.
And look at his posture. He's got 260 on the bar, but he is moving nice and steady. He doesn't have any sense of urgency.
Moving.
Yeah, it looks like he's just coasting.
Yeah.
But if there's one athlete in the field you have to trust their knowledge of themselves in terms of pacing, Brent's got to be one of them.
Well, Cole Griesaber is the man right next to him on the right side. And he is your overall leader after a 5th place finish in test 3. Now there's Justin Medeiros.
I mean, Justin's he's going pretty fast right now. I mean, look at the stride, it's quick.
So he's finished 6th, 10th, and 12th. And when you look at all the athletes inside the top 10, he only has 6 spots between his best and worst finish. That's the best out of anybody.
And that's the MO for Justin, right? He may not necessarily win events, but the delta between his best and worst finishes is so low that he's always in the top 10, and he will win out in the long run. May not help him here, but at the games it certainly does. And for him, more importantly, in an event or tests like this, execution is something he excels at. So he's gonna have multiple lifts. He typically hits all of his lifts in competition and usually is able to make up ground there.
Now, you know what's interesting? I imagine most of these guys are going to get off, throw on a belt, and then get after it. You got Vellner, I think he has his belt on already. We'll see how quickly he goes and attacks the bar and gets ready for it.
Well, and speaking of consistency, Cole Griesaber, his best finish, 3rd, worst 11th.
And Cole, we got to see, glimpses of this at Wodapalooza earlier in the season when he's trying to get confidence and familiarity at the top of the sport after breaking through last year. And it just seems like every time we see him in competition now, he's shown some improvement and seems more comfortable hanging with the top dogs.
He's in the final 100 meters of his 800-meter run, as is Vellner. So Vellner and Griesaber look to be the first 2 men off of the treadmill here. Now Medeiros is inside his last 100 meters as well. Chandler Smith far into the floor. He's almost done.
Chandler looks smooth though, man. He looks calm. He looks collected. He looks like he's visualizing what he wants to get done when he gets off this runner.
Now Griesaber is finished. Vellner is finished. And Sam Quant.
All right. Cole's about to hit what? 245? Yep.
Chandler Smith walking up to his bar. Cole Griesaber hits
Nice
245. Lift. Chandler Smith hit his opening lift. Vellner's good at 255. Justin Medeiros at 255.
So Pat Vellner deciding to go with the power snatch technique. We'll see how that plays out as he gets heavier loads.
Griesaber going up to 265. Nick Matthew hit 245. Chandler Smith is loading 275 on the bar. John Wood just missed. Fikowski's good at 260. Griesaber is getting set for his second lift. Medeiros looks like he's jumping up to 275.
Looks like Fikowski is as well, 275.
Sam Quant just hit his lift. Not sure what the number was on that, but here's Medeiros at 275.
Oh,
and a miss for Justin Medeiros. Chandler Smith is good.
Chandler Smith just hit 275.
Vellner's good at 275. That's a huge lift for him.
Fikowski stepping up to 280 as Medeiros behind him is going to make another run at 275.
Smooth
Fikowski's
lift.
good. Medeiros behind him misses again.
I'm shocked at that. It looked good coming up, but it just didn't stick.
And Nick Matthew adding 275 as we now have just 1 minute remaining. Sam Quant good at 270 in the back there, upper right-hand part of your screen. Cole Griesaber's jumping up to 275. Fikowski's going to 290. Griesaber's good at 275.
Nice lift
Chandler Smith at 295.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
Is good. Pat Vellner at 285 is good. Medeiros now hits 275, so that's big for him.
And he's still got enough time to get one more lift in.
Here's
Like
Fikowski at 290. That is good.
And I mean, Fikowski's strategy paying off. He hasn't missed the lift yet. He's been totally calm, low heart rate. Within a matter of one lift, he overtook mostly everybody on the floor who got 1 or 2 lifts before him.
That's right. Starting off at 260.
Pardon me, guys. Sam Quant just hit 280. Medeiros is going up to 285, and Fikowski loading up to 300. Vellner's set the lift. Vellner at 290 there, the upper part of your screen.
Yeah, Vellner, get him.
And he will get it. Medeiros at 285 will have that. Chandler Smith at 305 on the left. Fikowski at 300. Fikowski is good. Smith will miss. And there's the horn.
Wow. Wow.
So Brent Fikowski at 300 pounds. That will tie him for second place in the test. So one more look at Fikowski and Smith.
Chandler just not quite enough trying to rush it in there at the buzzer, but Brent Fikowski just technique work, just beautiful.
Did you know what impressed me actually? Justin Medeiros for failing 275 twice, coming back and then finishing at 285. That's pretty. I was shocked.
You can check out the custom belts that Tupood has provided to all semifinal athletes. Every Tupood weightlifting belt comes equipped with a wad clamp that keeps you locked in rather than just relying on Velcro to keep you secured. The wad clamp secures your belt with a mechanical clasp, ensuring that your belt will never pop off and allowing you to comfortably transition between movements in a Metcon. Thank you to Tupood for helping our athletes lift heavy. Here's test number 5. Now as we reset, and this one will begin with the 8 snatches at 185, and then we're back on the runner.
Well, and this is important too if we're talking about tiebreakers, because right now Brent has 300 on the board. Jacob Marlowe in the very first heat, Anthony Davis in an earlier heat, they both have 300 as well. So whoever has the faster time on test 5 gets the tiebreaker. Those are precious points.
Well, Justin Medeiros is going to wind up with a lift of 285, ninth place.
Dude, that's a great,
super consistent.
very.
The final heat of test 5, 8 snatches and then the 800-meter run.
I'm really excited to see how this run goes. You saw Medeiros, obviously probably a little frustration coming off of a few missed lifts, knowing he's going to try and make up some ground here. And
Matthew Fikowski, Medeiros, and Vellner all to the runner at the same time.
And you have guys that you know you're going to be competing with at the highest level on either side, and you feel like, hey, maybe this is a chance to make a statement here.
Oh, yeah. Fikowski's in a totally different mindset. You can already see it in his stride, that knee position. Just everything about him is completely different on this run, which it should be.
So as far as the tiebreak is concerned for Fikowski, with both Davis and Marlowe, Davis's time in this test, 3:18.2 seconds. Marlowe was 4:02.5. He was toward the back of his heat.
Look at Fikowski's position and where his knees are. He's driving his knees up higher, getting those longer strides. Again, as a fellow 6-foot-plus athlete with some long getaway sticks, you can really get that thing humming.
I don't know how that feels, but what I do know, is that we learned from last heat with Raphael and with Colton. These guys are going to get off, and I know for a fact they're going to sell out to hit that buzzer. They don't want to lose by a quarter of a second or whatever it might be.
3:07.56 seconds is your best time, and the Canadians are leading the way. Fikowski on the left, Vellner on the right.
All right, this is going to get good. Here we go, Chandler.
Pat Vellner started off the competition with his worst finish. He took 15th, then a third, another third, and right now 6th in test 4.
Well, part of that finish was he burnt in hard on the assault runner during that long event, so maybe a little redemption here on the runner by emptying the tank at the right time.
Yeah, he seemed to fatigue out on those sled pulls. Okay, here we go.
Well, Vellner is in his final 200 meters along with Fikowski. The judge's hand in the air for both athletes. Judge's hand in the air for Matthew, Griesaber, and Medeiros now.
Wow. Fikowski looks like he's really putting it on right now. I think Vellner's going to get it, though. Let's see. There he is.
Vellner's going to be
off
first, and Pat Vellner.
255.
And here comes Fikowski.
Nice job.
100 points to Pat Vellner. Fikowski's going to take second. There goes Sam Kwan. That is big for Kwan. He's looking to get into the top 9. Mitchell Stevenson and now Nick Matthew. Here come Griesaber and Chandler Smith. And Smith may have edged out Griesaber because of the slide. Now Medeiros is in.
That was a fast heat.
Chandler Smith is going to edge out Griesaber by 0.2 of a second. Medeiros will take 24th in that test. Now here comes John Wood across.
Wow. Look at that, Vellner and
256.39 seconds for Pat Vellner. Brent Fikowski was 2 seconds back of him.
And look at Vellner's pot. He looks like he just had a walk in the park.
Dude, he didn't even lay on the ground. Did he really try?
So once again, Pat Vellner, 15th to start, outside of a qualifying spot, and then going on a charge since then. But Brent Fikowski is going to help himself in test number 4 because he gets in ahead of both Davis and Marlowe. So Fikowski, back-to-back second place finishes in test 4 and 5.
That'll do just fine.
Then after that, it was a race to finish. Sam